Hello class, my name is Amir Ali and today I'm going to be talking about the Treaty of Versailles. The treaty was signed in Paris in 1919 at the Palace of Versailles. The famous 14 points were outlined by Woodrow Wilson in 1918. The treaty held Germany responsible for the war and held them to harsh penalties such as expensive reparations. Sounds kind of harsh if you ask me. The treaty itself humiliated Germany while failing to actually resolve the problems that led up to the actual war itself. Economic distress and resentment in the treaty within Germany helped fuel the ultra-nationalist sentiment, which led to the rise of Adolf Hitler and furtherly on to World War II. In a speech in Congress in January 1918, Woodrow Wilson laid out his famous 14 points, which gave him an idealistic vision of the post-World War. These 14 points emphasized the need for national self-determination for Europe's different ethnic populations. He also proposed the idea of founding a general association of nations that would mediate international disputes and foster cooperation between different nations. The 14 points summarized are: diplomacy should be public with no secret treaties, all nations should enjoy free navigation of the seas, free trade should exist among all nations, putting an end to economic barriers between countries. All countries should reduce arms in the name of public safety. Fair and impartial rulings in colonial claims. Number 6, restore Russian territories and freedom. Number 7, Belgium should be restored to independence. Alsace-Lorraine should be returned to France and France should be fully liberated. Italy's frontiers should be drawn clearly recognizable lines of nationality. Number 10, people living in Austria-Hungary should be granted self-determination. Number 11, the Balkan states should also be granted self-determination and independence. Number 12, Turks and those under Turkish rule should be granted self-determination. An independent Poland should be created. And finally, number 14, a general association of nations must be formed to mediate international disputes. Now, when German leaders signed this peace treaty, they were under the impression that this would form the basis for any future peace treaties. Unfortunately, that turned out not to be the case. The big four leaders of the victorious Western nations, Wilson of the United States, David Lloyd George of Great Britain, Georges Clemenceau of France, and to a lesser extent, Vittorio Orlando of Italy. They dominated the peace negotiations in Paris. Germany and the other defeated powers, such as Austria-Hungary, Bulgaria, Turkey, they were not represented at Congress, nor was Russia, which had fought as one of the Allied powers in the war until 1917. When the country's new Bolshevik government concluded a separate peace with Germany and withdrew them from the conflict. Other key provisions of the Treaty of Versailles called for determination and occupation of the Rhineland, limited Germany's army and navy. Most importantly, according to Article 231 of the treaty, better known as the War Guilt Case, forced Germany to accept full responsibility for starting World War I and pay enormous reparations for Allied war losses. Obviously, Germans were very furious about the treaty, seeing it as a dictated peace. Although the treaty was purposefully made to include a covenant creating the League of Nations, the harsh terms imposed on Germany helped ensure peace that would not last very long. In the following years following the Treaty of Versailles, many ordinary Germans believed that they had been betrayed. Radical right-wing political forces, especially the Nazis, would gain support in 1920s and the 30s, promising to reverse the humiliation brought from the Treaty of Versailles. With the onset of the Great Depression in 1929, the economic unrest destabilized the already vulnerable Weimar government, therefore setting the stage of the Nazi leader Adolf Hitler. And that is it for my TED Talkish. I hope everyone has a great day, and thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.